The Blind Tony Story, Book 2, Chapter 3. Shortly after this time, my little brother Mike was born. Michael Allen Horton. I remember the day that Mom and Dad brought him home from the hospital, wrapped in this cute little green blanket. He was beautiful and innocent. The whole family grew closer as a result of his birth. My sisters now had a real live baby doll to dress and feed. And I had an incredibly unique life form to interact with in a variety of different ways. Pampers hadn't been invented yet, so my brother Mike created a never-ending supply of diapers to be washed. Mom had been working regularly before Mike's birth, and she had had dreams of becoming a beautician, but as with everything else in Mom's life, she ended up sacrificing her dreams in order to make Dad's dreams and the family's dreams come true. Mom once told me that she too had dreams of telling her life story and writing a book about her life. But every time she thought about her life, it only made her want to cry. They don't make them like Mom anymore. Family always came first to her. And even though she was very beautiful, soft-spoken, and unassuming, she always placed the needs and desires of Dad above her own. Her cooking skills were superlative, and even everyday ordinary meals like eggs with cheese, fried bologna, and stovetop hot bread were culinary delights. But my favorite meal that she cooked was baked honey-glazed ham with cloves and pineapples, macaroni and cheese baked with a crust, string beans, and hot biscuits, topped off with sweet potato pie and ice cream for dessert. Everything that Mom cooked was cooked with a lot of love. And every time she made something, it was slightly different than the time before, but always magnificent. She also used to keep chocolate cupcakes, especially for me, tasty cakes, because she knew that that was one of my favorites. In fact, she always referred affectionately to my birthmark as a chocolate cupcake. However, once Mike was born, all of that changed. She still loved me, and she still made and did a lot of special things for me, but it just wasn't the same anymore. Mike was now the center of attention, and I kind of liked it like that because it gave me more opportunities and freedom to engage in wrongdoing without detection, which was good, but in a bad way. During the summers, we were sent, Pat, Mary, and me, to our Aunt Janie's house and our Uncle Mason's house in Atlantic City, New Jersey, for a brief vacation. Aunt Janie was Mom's mother's sister, and the two of them were always very close. In fact, Mom was living with Aunt Janie when she met Dad. Aunt Janie used to say that if she had a nickel, then Mom had 2 cents, and that was not just rhetoric. Aunt Janie and Uncle Mason had no children of their own, so they semi-adopted us and doted on us, and they used every opportunity they got to spoil us. They even had bank accounts for all of us to help us when we got older. They also kept a never-ending supply of chewing gum and vanilla wafers, which I always looked forward to. Their house was in the Village City Place on Baltic Avenue, and the trains would stop in front of their house early in the morning on the way to the coal yard 2 blocks away. There were always children my age around to play with, and the salt air had a deep calming effect on me, coupled with the roar of the ocean, which was always present, even in my dreams. And the combined effect and influence had a deep subconscious effect that is evident in my always being drawn to bodies of water, even today. We spent a lot of our vacation time on the beach. I would build sand castles and watch them get swept out to sea. Or I would lay at the water's edge and allow the water to caress me and then try to suck me out to sea. I couldn't as of yet swim, but I liked to pretend that I could by flapping my arms and walking on the bottom at the same time. Life was good. Uncle Mason was a soft-spoken, very polite man who worked at the Claridge Hotel as a bellman. He was always smiling, and he loved to maul my head, which was one of his affectionate ways of showing love. He always stressed the importance of being polite and mannerly. He would wash his hands a lot, and even now, I strive in many little ways to emulate his kindness. I can't remember him ever saying a discouraging word to anybody. He had originally come to Atlantic City from Cincinnati, Ohio, where he had worked as a Pullman porter on the trains. I don't know the whole story, but I do know that he met and fell in love with Aunt Janie, and the rest, as they say, is history. But I always thought he was somewhat henpecked because Aunt Janie was always fussing, complaining, and nagging him. But he was always very patient, loving, and kind in his responses. The sex must have been off the chain, or maybe they just loved each other a lot. I never really knew, and I guess I won't know, but those two were inseparable. Aunt Jenny worked as a maid and nanny for a white family in the Margate Bentnell area, which were all white, rich communities on the outskirts of Atlantic City. She worked hard, and she was frugal in her spending. She used to tell us that if we made $1, then we needed to save 50 cents. I really wished I had listened to her wisdom closely now that I'm older. I wish I had applied that to my life, but we're all different, just like every blade of grass, every raindrop, every snowflake, and every leaf on every tree. But I will never forget the times that we shared. In the evenings after we would eat and shower and share some love, we would be permitted to go outside and play. We would play a lot of hide and seek, and Aunt Janie would sit on the porch and beam with pride. She loved us a lot. Mom and Dad would never leave us there for very long, but the respite did give us time to interact with the real world and at the same time give them time to bond with the new baby, my brother Mike. It also set the stage for our next major move, which was from Lawnside, New Jersey to Atlantic City, New Jersey. I believe we all benefited from the experience.